In this video, we're taking a look at Go Collect's hottest comics for the week of 1-14, and it looks like second and third appearances are heating up. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video with Swaggle. And in this video, I'm going to take a look at Go Collect's hottest comics for the week of 1-14. Now, for those who don't know, Go Collect puts out a weekly article that analyzes the hottest selling comics based on eBay sales data. And it's always really interesting to take a look at this stuff because presumably this is where, people are really starting to spec or go to that blue water territory. And it's just really interesting to see what new comics are emerging in the market. But before I can get into my analysis of the article, if you guys could drop me a like or a comment or subscribe if you're enjoying my content. Love interacting with you guys, engaging. Let's keep this conversation going. All right, with that being said, let's take a look at this article now. And it's been really interesting to see what's been moving this week because it seems like second appearances and third appearances have really been spiking up. And what's kind of cool about that is we're starting to see that consistently as we analyze, the market and everything like that. And anecdotally speaking, it just sort of makes sense that once certain books get hot, especially those that have first appearances of characters, it's only natural that, coming in the next couple weeks or whatever, we're going to see those second appearances and third appearances really start to spike. So this week is no different in that. And let's take a look at it together. All right. So I'm going to show you guys the article here. And of course, this article is written by Matt Tuck, great contributor to Go Collect. I will definitely put a link in the description if you guys want to take a look at the article yourselves. All right. But that being said, the title is Hottest Comics 1-14, 5 Biggest Movers. And, I always like to sort of start at the bottom because, it's sort of great to work our way towards what has moved the most. And starting off here at the number 5 slot is going to be Avengers 684, up 972 spots. And what is the significance of this book? This is the first appearance of Immortal Hulk. Now, for those who don't know, Immortal Hulk is the current storyline that's going on within Marvel Comics about the Incredible Hulk, written by Al Ewing. And this is the first appearance of that rendition of the Hulk character, which happened in Avengers 684. And I think what's really interesting about this one is, with these sort of first appearances of iterations of characters like Immortal Hulk, sometimes these can be really hit and miss based on, what people think about wanting to spec on these books. But because Al Ewing's storyline for Immortal Hulk has been so successful, and as far as like current Marvel storylines, it's one of the most sold, it's one of the most sought after. I think because he's had so much success with his current rendition of the Immortal Hulk character, I think that the market is realizing that Immortal Hulk is a character that is sort of here to stay, or at least has significance within the comic book continuity. And I'm sure people want to get their hands on it and have this book because it really is a great launching point and a great iteration of the character because the storyline has been so good. And as we dig into the numbers here, you can see that at the high end, the 9.8s. Selling around that $110 mark. Here we see the January 2021 sale. So, again, definitely still very affordable as a, high-end 9.8 if it's a book that, you want. But it's really been spiking up. And I think people are really wanting to get their hands on this book. Not to mention that, but this is, when we take a look at that cover, let me pull that up one more time for you guys. When we take a look at that cover, this is just a classic Alex Ross beautiful cover. So, a lot of things going for it. Really, really intense. Definitely has the monster feel. Really, essentially this is going to be like kind of an instant classic in my opinion. So very, very iconic off the gate and just sort of a great, comic to own, especially being that it's an Avengers title. All right, let's move on now to the next comic here that's been moving in the market. And this one is actually really, really cool. This is Amazing SpiderMan 362, up 977 slots. And what is the significance of this one? This is the second appearance of Carnage. Now, for those who don't know, it's been released in the news that we are going to get Venom number 2. And spoiler alert, if you guys didn't see Venom number 1, at the very, very end of the movie, they teased that we were going to get Cletus Cassidy, who, and for those who don't know, Cletus Cassidy is the character who ends up becoming Carnage, and that's played by Woody Harrelson. So it is very safe to presume that when we get Venom 2 later this year, we're going to get a version of the film that incorporates Carnage. So I've been seeing the Carnage first appearance, which is Amazing Spider-Man 361, really, really heating up over, the last, not even weeks, but months, actually. I mean, I feel like people have really, really been going after this book, especially too, there's a second prints that people have really been going after. And now it seems to be the case that, the 361 has spiked really high. And so people are now starting to flock to that 362. And as you can see here, this is his second appearance. And, again, still a great prize. I mean, I think this is something that we're really starting to see with, the comic book industry, the comic book market in general, is that, second appearances are very cool to own as well. We talked about this with Warlock. We talked about this with, other characters like Kang and things like that. And second appearances are special too. It's still very, very early. And not to mention, when you take a look at this cover, I mean, look at this very, very dynamic classic cover. The yellow really pops in contrast to the red of the Carnage. And very, very dynamic. And this is a cool book to own, especially since it's like, a part of that Carnage storyline. So I think it's really cool that this one is starting to spike. And if we dig into the numbers here, you can see a 9.8 sold for $100 here in January, and a lot of January sales all across the board, actually. So especially on that top end. So this one is really cool. Amazing Spider-Man 362, second appearance of Carnage. Can't wait for the movie. It's going to be really exciting to see if this book continues to climb, once the movie is out. All right, let's go on now to the next pick here. And the next pick is also kind of a cool one as it relates to, second or third appearances or whatever. And this one is X-Force number 4. All right, what is the significance of this one? This is the third appearance of Deadpool. And what I guess has kind of moved this is that recently it was announced in the news that Deadpool was going to get his third movie, and it was going to be in continuity to the MCU. So I think, everyone knows that the New Mutants first appearance of Deadpool is a super, super hot book. And then it was also, I think, X-Force number 2, that was Deadpool's second appearance. And that one was kind of hot. So, it's only natural that eventually, as, we start to trickle down from one comic to the next, that the third appearance is going to be popular. And in X-Force number 4, we get Deadpool's third appearance. Not to mention, this is a Rob Liefeld comic, and it's got that sort of a landscape comic design, which, personally, I actually hate that design. But, I guess, in the 90s, it was kind of a fun gimmick to try. But, if we dig into the numbers here, we see 9.8 selling in January, $50, very, very reasonable. And then here, 9.4 selling for $14. I mean, if you can get any slab for under $20, you're already ahead, because, just slabbing the book itself already costs like $20, $25. So, I think people are gravitating to this book, get Deadpool's third appearance, kind of have that gimmick landscape cover. I mean, why not? Why not? And one thing that's really interesting about this book as well is that, it seems to me that obviously first appearances are really important, really sought after. Second appearances are obviously very, very cool, and people still really like them. But third appearances, it seems to me that you have to be a really popular character for your third appearance to matter in some sort of way within terms of, the collector market. So I think Deadpool is that character who just seems he's so, so, so popular that his third appearance actually does have significance. And that's why people are moving to this book. All right, let's move on now to the next book here. And the next book is actually really, really cool. And that is going to be Longshot number 1 from 1985. And for those who don't know, this is the first appearance of a character known as Longshot. Now, Longshot is a character who's sort of like in that, tertiary group of X-Men characters. And, he's kind of got his own sort of thing going on. I think he might even be from like a different dimension, but he goes up against Mojo and everything like that. And what's kind of cool about this book is that, he got his own sort of unique launch in a number 1 issue, kind of like how Darkhawk got his own launch in his own series, or someone like Nova got his own launch in his own series. So this was a character I think that they were trying to, catapult onto the scene, and he's got this number 1 issue. This is his first appearance, but again, like Darkhawk, and not Nova as much, but sort of like a Nova, Longshot is sort of without, no pun intended, is sort of a long shot as far as like him being a character that is going to have, a lot of significance in the MCU and even in just comic book continuity. But again, I think this one is really cool because it seems like a very sort of low risk, high reward spec book that people are going on, because if we do get Longshot, here you have a number 1 issue with his first appearance that was very, very affordable. And I think now the market is starting to see the potential, sort of like how the market was flocking to Darkhawk, a few weeks back. Now it's like, oh, well, what about Longshot? Let's jump on the Longshot train. So let's dig into the numbers here. And if we look at him, we see that his 9.8 is selling for $170 sales in January. Here you see a sale in December at the $70 mark, and then some other 2020 sales, 50, and so forth. So this one is interesting to me because, again, it's the first appearance of a X-Men character. It's got his own book, his own title, and it sort of is just like, I think people are speccing on this, hoping that they can win big with it, kind of like Darkhawk. It's like if they can get their hands on a 9.8 for what they deem a decent amount, and Longshot ever becomes a character who's a mainstay in the MCU. I mean, hey, they're going to win big on that. So I think that's why people are flocking to this book. And yeah, Longshot #1. All right, let's go on now to the last book of the hottest comics for the week of 1-14, and that is going to be Amazing Spider-Man #40. And what is the significance of this one? This is the second artwork by John Romita, and this is the origin of the Green Goblin. Now, what's really cool about this one is this is just sort of a beautiful classic cover. And we've seen in previous weeks Amazing Spider-Man 50 and 51 heating up. I mean, it feels like in every given week, there's always going to be a hot Spider-Man book because Spider-Man, again, he is just the flagship character when it comes to Marvel Comics, and his books are always going to be hot, and this one is no exception. This is going to be the origin of the Green Goblin. And what I think is really cool about this one is, for those who don't know, Green Goblin's first appearance, which I think is Amazing Spider-Man #12, I believe, is if I don't have that wrong, but regardless, for those who don't know, Green Goblin's first appearance, his book, when you dig into those numbers, they are like astronomical. I mean, it is really, really expensive to get your hands on one of those books, even at the low end. So I think for people who, love the Green Goblin character, who want to own, a little bit of his history, this is a book that's really, really exciting because one, he's on the cover. It's very, very dynamic. And then this is his origin book. That's something I noticed too, is that character origins are also very sought after in the collector market. You have first and second appearances, but then origin stories are actually really cool for people to own as well. And then additionally, this is John Romita, amazing, famous artist. This is his second artwork within Marvel, so that's really, really cool and just a cool book to own. And that's Amazing Spider-Man #40. And of course, this is going to be, if we dig into the numbers here, see the 9.8, $23,000. Oh baby! And then you go on to the low end here. You can find one at the $100 mark. Who's to say? But again, this one here up 992 spots. So this has had the biggest spike in the market. All right. So with that being said, that is all I got for this video. Those are the hottest comics based on eBay sales data with Go Collect 1-14. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys have any of these comic books? Are you guys speccing on these? Have you guys ever wanted any of these? I think it's really interesting that, time and time again with these Go Collect articles, we're seeing that second appearances, and I guess, with the Deadpool one, third appearances as well, always start to, spike when it comes to, hot books in the market. And that's really something that, is something to consider for those of you out there who want to be speccing on books. When things are getting really, really hot, pay attention. What are those second appearances? What's the first appearance of Galactus, super hot. What's the second appearance of Galactus? Take a look at some of those things and see, because I think second appearance books have a lot of value in the market. Anyways, that's all I got for this video. Drop me a like or a comment or subscribe, hit that bell, do all those things, support the channel, and I will see you in the next video.